Halo, ceritain. You left me in the show. Hello? I like your background. $11. Actually, 10 minutes and 25 seconds. What are we going to talk about tonight? I'm not sure, but I can guarantee you it's going to be spooky.
Feedback, feedback. Who's got feedback?
I don't think that's me.
Is that you? Feedback. Who's got feedback? We're just a couple of minutes away from going live. Well, we're live now, but we're going to start our show in just a few short minutes. 5 minutes to be exact. We are 61 days, 5 hours, and 4 minutes away from Halloween 2022. Have you been Halloween shopping yet?
Talking to me? Yes, I have.
And where did you go?
I went to Spirit Halloween. Where else would I go for the best Halloween shopping?
Well, I went to Lowe's for another reason, and they had a pretty good, substantial amount of wonderful stuff at Lowe's. Home Depot, I think, got out of the Halloween business.
Yeah, I've seen some videos people posted of Lowe's and their stuff there. Yeah, that looks like a bigger selection than normal.
Yeah, I posted one on Abnormal Alabama Facebook. So tonight's going to be a really big shoe.
A really big shoe.
We got some ghostly car traveling, scary stuff to share with us tonight.
Yeah, I got some haunted road stories here.
And there is Lady Cat Marie. She's fading in and out.
Hey guys, there may be people walking back and forth in my frame tonight. I'm not where a good place.
Uh-oh.
So we welcome everybody early. I started streaming this how long ago now? Quite some time ago. I started
It was right after 6 o'clock. I know that.
Yeah, because we're on a countdown. Halloween is our season. It is what we live for year to year. It's like, oh, it's Halloween. It's Halloween. In fact, if you go to Kevin's house, his house is permanently Halloween.
Yeah, well, yeah. There are some things that stay out all year long in this house.
Hundreds and hundreds of haunted dolls, and a haunted doll house, and all kind of other strange and abnormally normal stuff. And so, are we gonna do a interview with a doll tonight?
Yeah. Well, yeah. You know, I did say I was going to bring Catherine's favorite.
Are you stuttering?
No. I'm not stuttering.
Catherine keeps fading in.
I'm playing a ghost tonight.
Okay. Oh, so we are going to wait for 2 minutes, 1 minute, 54 seconds and counting, and then we'll get rid of the countdown clock. We'll bring the countdown clock back one day to remind you that we have just right now 61 days, 5 hours, and 1 minute, 36. Okay, till Halloween.
And you're going to have, it's like if you lean back far enough, you're going to have half a head sitting there. You already got it.
Evil laugh.
You already got Catherine looking like something out of the Disney's Haunted Mansion.
Welcome everybody to Abnormal Alabama and the Halloween countdown. We're having fun. I went to Lowe's today and I did a little video of that exciting little thing there. I mean, let's see if I can find it here, because they had some pretty neat Halloween stuff. Some pretty neat Halloween stuff. Home Depot was just totally freaking depressing. They didn't have anything.
I wonder why.
I don't know, but why don't we start this show out with a little tour of what's going on here in 20 seconds. I'm going to stop that.
Okay.
And we are going to take this to another place. Welcome, everybody. Abnormal Alabama, myhauntedDolls.com, and the Three Stooges. I mean, the three Abnormals are here with you. And to start this show, let me cool this up right here, just so you can see, if you're out doing your Halloween shopping, that which one is it? I'm lost. Hold on.
Well, we got Playful Rain. Hello, Playful Rain there.
Hello, Playful Rain.
I think it's this one. No, it's not that one. It's this one. That's it. Okay, here we go. Little tour I did. Lowe's and their Halloween stuff right here. Ready?
Spirit Halloween. Well, Lowe's, I let you know what Lowe's has in the way of Halloween. I was at Home Depot earlier in Alabama, and they didn't have anything Halloween-wise that I saw. These special characters here, and you can try them. Oh, there you go. Oh, wow.
The graveyard is a salon for visitors. You're brave to go at night.
All right, and then you got these lights. If you're a camper, that would look cool. Oh, wow. Yeah. Let's see. What are these two guys here? Oh, okay. All right. We know. Oh, no? Well, they do have the button, and they do say try. So, here was Michael. Look at this. And then, of course, we have the clowns. And let's see what this one is. Oh, yeah. Okay. And is this one doing anything? And no, that's family. And animated grave digger. Oh, I like that one. That's a grave digger. There it is. That guy there is that guy there. All right. So, oh wow, you get to turn around. There's quite a few stats here. Sure do. So, it's going to turn into a pretty lengthy little video here. Enter. Rest your bones. All right. Wait a minute. That is Jason. Yeah. Right this way. And these are like, this is what I wanted. Right here. That's not it. For my phone thing. Yes, I will guess. Let's just get them off. Let's just get it right here. So I can go try and look up my phone. Yeah, just stick it in here. All right, I'm going to have to come back here. I'm going to do it right now. Let's see. Some of these are not. There we go. So there's a scout play. It says, try this. There we go. Now there's Medusa down here. All right, let's see. Oh, wow, okay. We've got to go around circles here. Look at those huge skulls there. Okay, somebody doesn't pop that one out. Let's not freaking eat here. Okay. We have the skeleton, of course. Well, look at this. She's only $1.99. See what she does. Okay. Oh my God. You still and then we got another clown here.
Go ahead, run away. I'll just catch up with you later.
I bet you will. I bet you will.
Well, hold on, little kitty. How about the treat and treat?
All right, and then we got here. I'm going to do this. Time has come. $1.99. They're more affordable here than that some of these other places. Oh, we got crystal balls here. That's pretty cool.
And witches, wherever you dwell, give us a hint by ringing a bell.
Okay, well, we got Jack Skellington. We got a lot of Jack Skellington stuff here.
Halloween's finest trick or treaters.
Trick or treaters. Okay. All right, so there we go. They do have quite a variety. I just kind of ran through it real quick because I do have some. So there you go. Guys and girls, welcome. Yes. See. Oh, that one nice out. Good night.
There you go.
Yes, that was awesome. I'm gonna go to Lowe's as quick as I can. I hope
I
the
done,
one on 280 has that.
I done enticed Kevin to blow his check.
blow my check.
But you got to admit they had some pretty cool stuff.
Yep.
So I was in there for another purpose. I had a little issue with my pressure washer. Before the rain started, I was trying to do some work out back. And anyway, I went to Lowe's to pick up a little piece. And boom, I ran into Halloween. And that was, and I'm glad I did because we like Halloween here.
Yes,
Welcome, everybody. We got Playful Rain. We got who else? Some shepherd person from Savannah, Georgia. And we've got Omar made it on time. Everybody give Omar a big hand for showing up on time. Yay!
Omar was early tonight.
And Playful Rain, she was there. I think she listened to the entire countdown going into the show tonight. I think she was on Kevin's YouTube page.
Wow.
Listening to the music and watching the tick, tick, tick,
Tick,
toward
tick.
Halloween. So we're 61 days and about 5 hours or so from Halloween 2022. I hope everybody's pumped up, happy, and let's rock and roll. Hey, I'm also looking for a good used hearse. If anybody knows of a good used hearse that's affordable for a poor white boy from Alabama, let me know. Because it'd be a good place to go camping in, I guess. Yeah. How's that? I'm going to start a new YouTube channel called Stealth Camping Cemeteries. Spend the night in cemeteries all across the nation, especially the ones way out in the country with the old tombstones. Wouldn't that be neat, huh?
Yep.
So, Catherine is with us. Lady Cat Marie, she's hiding. Say hello, Cat.
Hello, everyone.
You got to back away from your camera. You get too close. That's why you keep blinking out. Yeah.
I like the effect that I was giving it.
Yeah. Well, you look ghostly. That's for sure. And of course, Kevin's already kind of said hello. And the three of us are here to entertain you tonight with some interesting stories. But before we get into our haunted cars, ghost cars, travels, and that sort of thing, guess what's behind us? You know what this picture is behind us here?
It's a cemetery with lightning.
Christine.
Oh, you
She's
mean
hot.
I'm looking at your picture.
Yeah.
I'm
So
looking
that
at your picture, so.
so we've got some stories we're going to share with you. But of course, before we do that, we always have some strange doll that Kevin wants to
doll.
EVP with. And I don't know if he's got his REM pod and his cat ball. He's got so many devices. Do you even have room in your office for you anymore?
Yeah, I do.
All right. So I'm going to back away and let Catherine stay there because she's the one that kind of works with him on this, listening for strange words. She asks questions as well. So are you ready? Who we talking to?
We are talking to Danny, who's already blubbering away over here.
What's the name?
His name is Danny.
Danny. All right, we got a guide dog tonight?
He is.
We do.
He is late. Look at him. He blinks. He's animatronic.
I think do I have Danny's little brother at my house?
No, you have one similar. Yes.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. And what is Danny holding there? Looks like
This
a
is
monkey.
a monkey that came with him from his previous spirit mom.
So what's the history of Danny?
And all we know is that she's not a haunted doll person so much as she likes to do art. She likes to get dolls and make artistic creations like zombie dolls and things like that.
So that's who you got that doll from.
And Danny, all he's supposed to do is make baby noise. He's supposed to coo and gurgle and laugh. But he started saying words, and he's not supposed to be programmed to say words. So,
Are you kidding me? Oh.
So that's when she, Scary Sherry is her name, is what she calls her. Scary Shelly. That's what she calls herself. Contacted me. She said, you might want this doll. I think.
Well, I don't think I've seen this one before.
I've had him at the conventions a long time ago before pandemic. And I would always turn him on because it would scare people because animatronically, the way he was programmed, I think noise makes him wake up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he'll kind of go to sleep like a computer does. So the batteries don't get wasted. Now, I have to tell Catherine, I hadn't had him out in so long. His little hood keeps sliding back, but I haven't had him out in a while. He apparently got hungry because I left the room and I came back and found the scraps of his meal here.
Hard. Okay. I think we better be careful this Halloween. Kevin's kind of losing it over there.
Nah, even Walmart can have some cool things every once in a while. And I saw these yesterday, and I said, "Yeah."
Well, when I was at Walmart today, they were still putting their stuff out. It wasn't complete, but there were a few neat items. But I tell you what, I was really impressed with Lowe's.
Yeah.
And that Lowe's, I don't know how the Lowe's is over in your neck of the woods, but the Lowe's I went to was the one in Alabaster. So
I'll soon find out about our Lowe's, but this Chelsea Walmart, boy, they were quick to hurry up and clear out that back to school this last week, and they went in and put out. It's full of Halloween stock. They've still got more stuff to add, like inflatables, but they already had a lot out.
wow.
So I hope that didn't scare Danny there, but you got your listening here, you got your.
Hey, Kevin, lend me an ear.
And if you want to keep an eye on things, or go thumb a ride, or I can just give you the finger,
Well, that's something you would do.
I hope Danny said,
Well,
I don't have to have a spirit box with him because sometimes he'll answer me electronically himself.
okay, so do you have a cat ball and whatnot in the vicinity
I
as
do
well?
have the cat ball on. I explained to him during the Lowe's tour.
Got
if we want
the
to play
REM
with
pod ready there?
See, I'm having to tap that to turn it on. We're going to see. Remember that night it came on just all by itself?
It stayed going on for 30, 40 minutes.
Got the hotel bell. Got the REM pod.
Look at that lighting up there. Yeah.
Got the light. It's
I
gone
done
out.
wore it out. Done wore it out.
That right. It probably just needs to be charged up.
All right. I'm going to back out. Let you and Catherine and Danny take over the show for usually around 30 minutes or so and see if we get anything interesting. Guys, if y'all hear something, put it in the chat box. If you have a question that you'd like Catherine or Kevin to ask Danny, put that in the chat box, and we'll be monitoring that and share the questions and share what you think you heard Danny say.
He just said, come on. When you said put comments in the chat, he said, come on.
Hello, Danny. It's been a while since I've seen you.
Oh, as you were talking, I think he said, what we got? He's saying words that he shouldn't be saying. This is just. Yeah. Say hello, Danny. Say hello to everybody. Oh, Dad. That's what it sounded like he said. Yeah, there's one of his blubbering noises he normally is supposed to make.
The cats are going crazy behind me.
Hope you're not scared. Hope you're not scared of these little plastic things. That's just toys. They're not real. Danny, how are you tonight? Well, I gotta laugh. Well, that's how you are. What? Do you have a name? Do you have a name for your monkey? Uh-oh, are you going to sleep? Oh, he's yawning. Don't go sleep. Hey, Danny. Ooh. Danny.
Danny, wake up.
He's going to sleep. Hey, Danny. Ooh.
Danny. He's playing peekaboo.
Are you playing? Are you playing peekaboo? Peekaboo. Come on, wake up. I haven't had you turned on in a while. You can't go to sleep this fast.
Something's draining his batteries, maybe.
It could be, but usually it just kind of stops, like closing his eyes and making that sleepy noise. Here, let's see. I'm going to set the camera down here. Oops. Where it's aimed up at him. There we go. And let's see what I can do here. Let's see. Is it your foot or something I'm supposed to touch? No. Let's try them switching you off and on here and see if that'll help. There, now you're awake. Now. There you are. Uh-huh, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to cut the spirit box on just to see what happens. Yeah. Just to see what happens with that. So we got the ghost tube on. In case you want some extra help. Yeah.
Hello, Danny. Are you going to speak with me tonight? Are you trying to play shy?
Oh, well, let me fix your monkey for you. And I think I set that off by myself there. Alrighty. See that pretty ball light up? If you touch it, it'll go off. Well, achoo, he sneezed. Okay. I didn't quite hear that on the spirit box. But something just spoke. Or somebody. Danny, say hello to everybody.
I know you're there.
He said something there. I don't know.
Yeah, Mama.
You want me to move these scary things out of the way for you and you can play with. Achoo! Bless you. Tell us your monkey's name. He said something, but I didn't quite understand that. It was 3 syllables.
Silent.
Silent. Is there another spirit with you?
There's 2.
There's 2. Wow, what are their names? Bye. You want to ring the bell? Or make this still? That sounds like a creepy ha ha. Well, I know you like to sneeze tonight.
One reading on Danny is he's about a 5 or 6 year old little boy, and he keeps insisting that his hair is brown, not blonde. But he is attached to this doll.
Danny, did this doll belong to you?
I think he's trying to tell you it belonged to his mama.
Oh, to your mama? Is your mama with you now?
Light it up.
Yeah, tap that ball and make it light up if you can. Since there's other spirits with you, if one of them want to tap that and light it up, that's fine. Maybe they can help you.
Ball. Play with the ball. Kevin, set the ball in his lap.
Okay. And then
He wants to play with the ball.
see how it lights up if you. Uh-oh. Let's see if we can get your leg up here. We'll put it here. There you go. Man. See how it lights up? Oh, they don't go. Oh, okay, I thought you were going to sleep for a second there. Uh-oh, he's going back to sleep. Danny.
He's being a stubborn little thing tonight.
I just gave you the ball.
Danny, wake up.
What was that?
You gonna speak to us on the device? Can you say hello?
That was a good response there. I couldn't quite make out what it was saying.
Yes, Danny is a very adorable doll, playful one.
What else would you like to say to us tonight? That's a deep voice. I hope that's a good spirit.
That's the stuff.
I can't make out what it's saying.
I can't either. I don't have the capabilities tonight to listen to it twice.
Yeah, Playful Rain. He makes baby noises. He's not supposed to say words, but somehow he's been saying words for a while. Except tonight he's playing shy. Although I don't think I've ever had him on camera before, come to think of it. So
I think we had him one time on camera.
Yeah, we did over there at that office over in. I brought him there to Columbiana one night.
Yeah, he's my favorite, and he knows it.
This down, and I'm gonna try clapping my hands and see. Danny.
It's weird because he usually just wakes up.
Yeah. Let's see here. If I poke at you a little bit. Uh-oh. Here, I'll go ahead and help you out again. Oh, there's the switch. There we go. I woke you up.
I can't remember what kind of doll he is, Playful Rain, but he is the cutest thing ever.
Yeah, I don't remember either. I just know he's animatronic, of course, and he's supposed to coo and giggle and sneeze, but he's not supposed to be saying words, not mama and some of the other things. He started talking right at the beginning of this session when Kelsey said, put comments in the notes what you hear. He said, come on. Like he was inviting people, come on.
Oh. I know what.
Danny, tell me what your last name is. Oh, that was weird. Some music came through the spirit box. The ghost tube. Oh, and here comes Catherine. She's got a doll. Now that was something different. He said la la or something like that.
Baby. Baby. See, it's okay. Thank you, Playful Rain.
Oh, that said great. The echo was like, great, 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 great.
Do you see the baby, Danny? Do you like her?
Uh-huh.
This is my new baby. Bug got her for me. La. Will you light the ball up for the baby? The ball that's in your lap?
Yeah, it looks like it was saying which something or other.
Did you put the bullet light out?
No, it's over here. And I will turn it on, see what it does. Look, you play with, oh, here we go. You play with this light too, Danny. I'll put it there next to the ball. If you play with that right there, you make it light up. So now you got different toys to play with. Can you can you make your monkey move? Maybe move his leg or his arm.
To be able to Bill Armstrong. Good police.
You like making that sneeze noise, don't you? Uh-huh. Is that your way of being hammy for the camera? Oh, that was.
I swear he just said, that's a doll.
That's what it sounded like. I mean, that's not something he's programmed to say.
Yes, she is a doll. Do you see her spirit?
Playful Rain says, "Me too." So I think she heard it too. Uh-huh.
Danny. Are you just going to be silly?
Playful Rain said, that was creepy. Uh-huh.
Mama? Is Kevin a good daddy?
Peanut butter?
Peanut butter?
You like peanut butter? Are you getting sleepy again?
Yep.
Ah,
I'm telling you, his batteries are drained. He's draining.
uh-oh. Sound like it said he can on the ghost box. Has Danny gone to sleep? Well, tell us who you are. And if you want, you can light up one of these lights. Or something you want to tell us. We got just a little bit of time left.
Danny.
Have the other spirits gone away now? We just got a minute or so left. Is there anything you'd like to say? Well, tell us. What would you like to say?
Scary.
Scary. What is scary?
I didn't think Danny would be scared of the skull because he's been there for so long. I mean, you've had him about, what, 6 years or so?
Let's see. Probably about 5. Maybe 4 or 5. I think 5. Because I've been doing this 9 years and he came a little later.
Yeah, and I've known you for at least 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And you had him at that Comic Con.
Lady's voice said, seems like on the. All right, last chance. For anything you want to say before we move on to our story, since we're past 7:30.
He just wants some loving.
Yeah, well, you got love, and everybody loves you.
He's just the most precious little thing in the world.
Weird noise.
An evil laugh. All right, Danny, your last chance, buddy. Say something. You gonna say goodbye? You know what Danny's gonna do in the middle of the night.
You gonna start babbling?
You're going to wake up to Danny talking his head off. You're going to grab your phone and you're going to record it because he's going to just have this burst of energy in the middle of the night and wake you up and scare the crap out of you.
Well, he's in a different room from me. I wonder if I'll be able to hear it.
You need to let him sleep in the room with you tonight.
Okay.
Because that's gonna be what happens. Because I think we did a little spirit box, maybe a 5-10 minute session with him one time, and I can't remember, it's been so long ago, but I think that's what he's going to do to you.
Well, we shall see.
And he will walk through your house and come closer.
All right, I'm going to turn this spirit box off. If there's any spirits that don't belong, you need to go back to where you came from, and all spirits back away as I count down from 5, and I'm going to close this door. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Well, I'm gonna leave his switch on then, and we'll see.
See if
Here
he
in the middle of the night, he starts babbling, and I'm gonna lend the ear, make sure I hear.
Lend that ear. And yeah. Can you see?
Can I see? My eye. Let me see. Let me get this out of my eye here. There we go. I think I got it out. How's that? Well, you can't see it behind my glasses.
Keep your eyeball on it.
Keep my eye on things.
Your eye on things?
And now I can give.
You can what?
I can give you the finger now through the.
Wow,
Oh, this makes this trick so much easier. Look at there.
Oh gosh. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Watch out. We're getting closer to Halloween, and unfortunately, we are dealing with Kevin Kane.
With-
And you know what that means, especially this time of year. It's kind of like a cat with catnip.
ah,
It's Kevin with Halloween. You know how a
yeah.
cat will go crazy over catnip? You know what I'm talking about? You ever gave your cat catnip?
It kind of runs out her energy. She eats it.
Yeah, well, Kevin has that general reaction to Halloween. Michael Myers.
Yeah. Now I tell you what, when I do the red light and she chases it around, that's that's how I react to Halloween.
Well, let's start out on Riverdale Road in Colorado, a little town called Thornton, which is a suburb of Denver. Thornton is well known as one of Denver's largest suburbs, but it is what you cannot see that makes this city downright frightening. Spanning most of Thornton is the seemingly innocent Riverdale Road, which passes through both busy city intersections and more rural areas. While Riverdale may seem like your typical city street, it's anything but, as the road, which is literally named the Gates of Hell, has many morbid legends surrounding its paved twists and turns. Just what are these legends? For starters, there's the tale of an insane man murdering his wife and children by setting their mansion on fire. The alleged murders are what gave Riverdale Road its nickname, as the mansion sat behind a sturdy gate that you can still see today. There's several instances of savage lynchings of slaves, and even the ghost of a Camaro driver in his car who coaxed living visitors into racing to their death. Unfortunately, the gruesomeness does not end there, as even locations as seemingly innocent as chicken coops have turned into supposed meeting places for cult members and witches and groups like the Kane Clan. To get an even better look at Riverdale Road, well, there are some YouTube videos that will take you down there. Whether or not Riverdale Road is indeed haunted is up for debate, but one thing is for sure, there is something spooky happening in Thornton. So take a trip down Riverdale Road. And it's not the only haunted road in Colorado. Ghost hunters have all sorts of haunted roads to traverse and explore in the Centennial State. Just east of Denver is a small town called Strasburg, and the iconic Third Bridge is rumored to be plagued by the paranormal due in part to a fatal car accident involving local teens, as well as an alleged Native American massacre that took place near the spot several centuries ago. Intrigued? When you go, listen and look carefully for the sounds of beating drums and the shadows of a mysterious man on a horse. Oh, there's yet another haunted road in Colorado, the Gold Camp Road, a place with a downright eerie history, following an old rail line that went from Colorado Springs to Cripple Creek. Remember that song, Up on Cripple Creek? Gold Camp Road runs through a trio of the railroad's original tunnels, which is where our ghost story begins here. As the legend goes, the tunnels were initially constructed in the 1800s, and during construction, collapsed on one of the workers, burying him alive and eventually, of course, killing him. Oh, well, wait, there's more. While the worker's death is tragic enough, the story gets even worse, as not only was he killed in an unthinkable way, but so was a school bus full of orphans who died instantly when part of the tunnel collapsed on top of the vehicle. Beware of that tunnel. To this day, all sorts of weird things have been reported here. Witnesses claim to have found tiny and dusty handprints on their cars and have reported the feeling of being pushed or scratched when no one else is around. Well, Colorado's got some more weird things going on. There's nothing that fuels the imagination quite like a ghost town. And just about an hour outside the picturesque town of Aspen, Colorado, is one of the West's best preserved ghost towns. Established in 1880 as a gold and silver mining town, Aspen's precious metals and residents had all but dried up by the 1920s. Today, St. Elmo is a well-preserved, off-the-beaten-path ghost town that's a time capsule of a historical moment, complete with still-standing wooden storefronts and an original general store. St. Elmo is a bit quiet and eerie, yes, but definitely nothing as creepy or terrifying as other places in Colorado. There's a story of this evil place in Colorado that will make your blood turn cold. Tucked away in the hills of Colorado Springs, Bear Creek Park lies the historic Gold Camp Road, which we just talked about, where the bus for the kids, the orphans, died. You can visit that tunnel to this day, believe it or not. Then, of course, you've got the little Colorado town that's got a lot of paranormal activity. One of many unique offerings happens to be that of playing the slots and eating our weight in buffet food in a small historical town in Black Hawk. What you may not realize about this tourist town, however, is the insane paranormal activity occurring behind closed doors. Founded as a mining settlement during the Pikes Peak Gold Rush, Black Hawk is not just known as being a historic town, but also the least populous city in the state, with only 120-something permanent residents. After the decline of both mining and the railroad, Black Hawk opened its first casinos, and since the early 1990s is now known as one of the most popular gambling spots in Colorado. Just what makes this small and memorable tourist town so creepy? Well, the iconic Gilpin Hotel and Casino isn't just one of the best places to play in Black Hawk. It's also one of the most paranormal, thanks to a ghost named Lucille. Who is Lucille? She is the spirit of a woman who killed herself in the hotel after learning her boyfriend had died in a freak mining mishap. But don't worry, Lucille is harmless and is usually only seen around the casino's second floor restaurant. Known for being part of the Central City Black Hawk National Historic District, the Lace House is a 1863 house-turned museum that is said to be plagued by the ghosts of residents past. And then, of course, there's cemeteries. The Black Hawk's Masonic Cemetery. And Colorado's got a lot more, but I've gone beyond the roads that are haunted, and I've gone beyond the cars and the orphans getting killed in a tunnel. So I guess I'm deviating from our subject matter tonight. So it's time to turn it over to Captain Payne and see if he has a story for us that has to do with ghost cars and terror on the highways and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I got one here. You mentioned Christine, our background image there. And that's, I'm going to go ahead and just jump to this story I had stuck in here. Did you know Stephen King actually based Christine on a real live, supposedly cursed vehicle? And it's It's not exactly the same as Christine. This one's a Dodge, but it's still said to be cursed, and it has been called they call it the Golden Eagle. Here's a picture of it here, which kind of looks a little like Christine if you look at it's not the same type of car, but
Oh no, it doesn't look anything similar to Christine.
kind of makes me think of the front there, the headlights and stuff.
Oh, you didn't go back to the car yet.
Oh, come on. Just
Where are you going?
hold on. Oh, wait, hold on a second.
Did you
It's
get
time
lost?
for a finger. Now, back to the story.
He's using a finger to pick his nose.
So,
Ah,
this story has mostly been told by owner Wendy Allen on various websites dedicated to the weird and the strange. Keep in mind that Allen, nicknamed both It Cat and the Sea Witch of Old Orchard Beach, claims to collect and decorate nothing but haunted cars, which she takes to car shows and uses as inspiration for her writing. So take this story with a grain of salt, but spook season is upon us, and who doesn't love a good, maybe real scary story? As the story goes, the Golden Eagle started out as a police car in Old Orchard Beach, Maine. Each of the 3 officers who drove their car died. Not in the car, but in massive murder-suicides that resulted in them killing themselves and their families. It was quickly sold off to an elderly man before it made its way into the hands of the Allen family. The Allen family somehow remained untouched by the evil car's spell, maybe because they fully embraced its bad, spooky self. Wendy Allen was able to use it as her daily driver with no consequences. Those who vandalized the car in past years, though, were not so lucky. Throughout the 80s and 90s, local members of the church were keen on vandalizing the car. It's claimed that all of them died in incredibly strange ways, being hit by lightning, for example, or decapitated by an 18-wheeler. 2 of the kids who were hit by other cars died after being flung onto the Golden Eagle, and one other kiddo who decided to touch the car in 2008 went home to murder the whole family and burn his house to the ground. Yes, that includes even the family dog. After that, it was chopped up and sent to the junkyards in an attempt to keep it from killing again, but Wendy Allen persisted. Given that the car has been in her family for years, she managed to track down some of the pieces of the car and stick them back together, getting it in full driving shape. Lately, she claims that the worst thing to happen with the car is that its doors like to fly open on the highway. It's one of those stories that could be true, but has enough holes to make you wonder if it really is, or if it's all a big legend built up around a few weird encounters that have turned into a local legend. But it did inspire Stephen King with his Christine. So there you are, the 1964 Dodge that started it all. And killed along the way, apparently.
Well, here is a list of a few of the most haunted cars, famous cursed cars.
Okay.
The most evil car in America. The most evil. You got that? The most evil car in
Most
America?
evil, well.
1964 Dodge 330. You ever heard of that one?
That's the one I just talked about.
Okay, then I'm not going to go there. What about the Archduke Franz Ferdinand's Graf and Stift Death Limo?
Do tell.
The Graf and Stift Death Limo might claim the largest kill count due to its role in Archduke Franz Ferdinand's death. It's often blamed for the beginning of World War I. Discounting the car's role in the start of World War I, it still has a number of deaths and injuries associated with it. It all started on a day where the Austrian Archduke Franz Ferdinand had just avoided an attempt on his life. Riding in the Graff and Stift limo, the Archduke and his wife were on their way to comfort those in the hospital who were injured in the attempt on his life. While they were on the way, the open air limo stalled in the street. Unfortunately, they stalled in front of a cafe where one of the failed assassins had stopped to get a drink. As the Bosnian anarchist walked out of the cafe, he saw the Archduke sitting there, giving him a second chance to complete the job. The assassin took advantage of the stalled car to shoot the Archduke and his wife, leaving them to die, and tipping tensions in Europe over the edge to begin World War I. Without the car stalling, the assassination would never have happened, and history might have been much different. Of course, the car stalling could be attributed to the case of bad luck, yet the assassination wouldn't be the last death to happen in that car. The next person who owned the car was an Austrian general who went insane as he rode in the car through Vienna. After the general gave up the car, the governor of Yugoslavia took ownership of it. It would take 4 car accidents and the loss of his arm to convince the governor that he needed to sell that car. A surgeon friend of the governor bought the car and promptly got in a crash 6 months later, killed him. The tale goes that the next owner was a German captain who died driving while trying to avoid 2 pedestrians. All in all, the car would go on to claim 13 lives and would be owned by 15 different people before it retired to a museum where it now rests.
Wow.
So that was a car that legend has it started World War I. What do you think about that?
Wow.
I think that's amazing.
Amazing grace.
It's amazing.
So, I'm sorry?
It's amazing.
Well, of course, then everybody knows about JFK's assassination, right?
Yeah.
Another limo and another haunting story of a cursed car and the assassination of a notable man of history. November 22nd, 1963, President John F. Kennedy was shot dead in the Lincoln limo convertible, accompanied by First Lady and wife Jackie Kennedy and the Texas governor at the time. A total of 3 shots were fired, killing the president of the United States. After JFK's assassination, the 1961 Lincoln limo remained in service for a number of years, including during Lyndon Johnson's presidency. Obvious upgrades were done to ensure the president's safety. These modifications were completed by Hess and Eisenhart. The limo has since been retired and is now found at the Henry Ford Museum in Dearborn, Michigan. Much like the ghost story and haunted car of Bonnie and Clyde, people have reported numerous accounts of supernatural activity around the car. Some have even said they have seen a figure of a person dressed in gray standing next to the haunted car.
Ooh. All righty.
What do we got?
Should I share one now?
Of course. You can take. You want me to, I'm just going to back out and let you have the rest of the evening since you got.
No, I didn't say that. Hey, I just
My favorite haunted car is the grandpa's car.
Grandpa's car.
That's not
Yeah.
really haunted.
I know it's not.
I thought Kevin was going to share a story. Are you going to share
Okay,
one?
here I go.
Where are you going?
This one right here.
Right here.
Telling the story. It's right here in
Don't be telling
Alabama.
stories. Don't be making
Yeah.
stuff up.
Yeah, I'm not making this up. And right
I
here
don't know.
in
Are you making it up?
Alabama, we have our own haunted highway that some have wanted to dispute it was the most haunted, or name it the most haunted highway, at least in Alabama. So when it comes to hauntings, Alabama has definitely seen its fair share. From spooky mansions and eerie factories to creepy hotels and haunted cemeteries, there's no telling where you'll spot a ghost in Alabama. You might even have a ghostly encounter while driving down one of Alabama's state highways. One highway in particular that's supposedly haunted is Highway 5, which is located in Lynn, Alabama. Here's how one of the scariest ghost stories in Alabama is told. Many years ago, on a rainy night in Lynn, Alabama, a teenage girl was on her way home from the prom with her boyfriend. It's always the prom for some reason. Shortly after leaving prom, they got into an argument, and the girl asked her boyfriend to stop and let her out. He did exactly as she requested, and she decided to walk the rest of the way home. Unfortunately, the teenage girl never made it to her destination. While walking along the side of Highway 5, she was struck by an 18-wheeler. The driver of the truck left the scene, and the teenage girl was discovered the following morning in a ditch. Supposedly, if you drive an 18-wheeler down Highway 5 in Alabama on a rainy night, she'll climb onto the side of the truck to see if the driver is the same one who killed her many years ago. This stretch of highway in Lynn is one of the most haunted places in Alabama. Several truck drivers have reported seeing this happening to them. Even people driving other types of vehicles have reported seeing the creepy, ghastly apparition of the teenage girl walking along the side of Highway 5 in Alabama. Sometimes even leaping onto their cars to see who might be behind the wheel. So it's no holds bar on Highway 5. But definitely, if you're a truck driver on a rainy night in Alabama, you might want to stay away from Highway 5.
Well, they say that it is the most haunted.
Yes.
That's and Highway 5 goes from where does it go here? Bibb County, is that right?
Yep.
If you want to see where it goes, Bibb County. It's kind of stretch of highway here through Alabama. You know where Woodstock is?
I know of it, but I can't.
Yeah, so Highway 5 goes up and it runs into Highway 11 up around Vance and up in that area, not far from 5920. And then it goes south, goes through West Blockton, if you're familiar with that.
No.
Then it kind of turns into 25. It kind of runs together with 25 for a while.
Yeah.
Just anybody that wants to take this journey, I'm just kind of goes on down. Oh man, it goes way on down here through Marion. If you're familiar with Marion, Alabama.
Yep. I've been there.
Yep. And then where else are we going here, boy? It goes way south. Safford, Alabama is where it dead ends. It looks like. Well, it kind of joins 22 there. Goes off in a different direction. Alberta, Gastonburg. Oh, wait a minute. It goes through Catherine.
Catherine.
It says that it goes right through Catherine. You there? Did she leave us?
Oh, she's muted.
Okay. Goes through Catherine, and then it goes through Anne Marie. These are all towns I never knew anything about. The Pine Hill.
Well, we got to find Catherine.
Sunny South Alabama, Thomasville. I tell you, 5 goes along. I'm trying to see where it ends because I thought, well, we'll just take a journey down 5 sometime. And I've lost it now. Where did it end?
He's lost it.
I've lost it. It kind of runs. It looks like it kind of runs together with 43 in Thomasville, Alabama, and 43. Does 5 pick up again, or is it just end there? I don't see it anymore. So it must end in Thomasville. It's a little stretch of highway there. So if you want to get on Alabama's most haunted highway, there it is. And he's shared some creepy stories about that, right?
Yep.
It's creepy. It's creepy. No, let's go across the pond to Surrey, England, where we find the next encounter with the supernatural. This list of ghost stories. So one night the police received a call about yet another car crash on the A3 highway. You see, this highway is well known for a stretch of road where car crash accidents are quite frequent. The police headed out in search of the car wreckage, finding nothing, no evidence of a crash, no body, not even a fresh tread mark on the ground. It wasn't until the police force started to search the surrounding area that they stumbled upon a maroon Vauxhall Astra that crashed into a ravine. When the police inspected the car, it was covered in undergrowth. They opened the car door to find a man's body who appeared to have been decomposing for approximately 5 months. But the police never did find any other car crashes that night. Was the call they received from the dead driver who was stuck in his car? Was this his ghost reaching out to be found and finally be laid to rest? Well, you be the judge.
Ooh.
Oh.
I got one here. Looks, this one is just bloody good because it's about the Bloody Bride Bridge in Wisconsin.
You gotta watch it, buddy.
Highway 66. Now, if it just had one more six, that'd be really good. But it's Highway 66.
God, those sixes.
Bloody Bride Bridge is not, of course, the official name of this said to be haunted bridge in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. However, its moniker does hint as to what drivers can expect. Officially known as the Highway 66 Bridge, the bridge sits near Jordan Park and has long been associated with a tragic tale. Whether that tale is true or not is really up to each person to decide. But here's how it goes. Many years ago, a bride and groom crossed over the Highway 66 bridge on their wedding night. The couple got into a terrible car accident, killing the bride. There's no mention of the groom's fate, although his spirit has been mentioned in some versions of this tale. Not too long after her death, the apparition of the distraught bride began to wander back and forth on the bridge, still in her bloody wedding gown. Some say she's most easily seen on rainy nights. However, that's just the beginning of the tale. The legend says that a police officer out on his rounds was driving over the bridge when he saw and accidentally hit the distraught bride in the middle of the road. He got out of his car to go around and check on her, but she was gone. But it's not over. He returned to the car and found her in the back seat waiting for him before vanishing. Others over the years have told similar tales and experiences on the highway and that bridge locale. Even if you don't see the distraught and bloodied bride, you may still feel a bit uneasy. It's not uncommon for drivers to see a ghostly fog and even out-of-place rock formations on the bridge when driving through. So there's the Bloody Bride Bridge. Say that 3 times fast. Bloody Bride Bridge. Bloody Bride Bridge. Blah, 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 blah.
Blood, the big black bug bled black blood. How big bad boy that was, huh? Yeah. Mr. Bill, All right. Well, I guess we've all heard of the Bonnie and Clyde V8 Ford death car.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah. So when it comes to haunted cars, the Bonnie and Clyde car is an essential on this list. So in the early 1900s, these two individuals who we've all heard of, Bonnie and Clyde, found one another and created one of the most infamous couples of all time. Bonnie and Clyde. Been songs written about them, books written about them, movies portraying them. They were two notorious gangsters during the Great Depression era, robbing banks and leaving a trail of blood in their wake. Their misadventures became galvanized through this period, offering a form of chaotic and violent entertainment that appealed to many people. Their many crimes, especially the murders of several police officers, made Bonnie and Clyde extremely sought after criminals. For a while, the couple was nimbly able to avoid the law. They gained followers and eventually created a kind of gang, but these members would ultimately lead to their downfall. When they were killed, it was believed they committed 13 murders and various robberies and burglaries. The FBI was finally able to track down Bonnie and Clyde in Louisiana in 1934 as the couple drove up in their Ford V8. Agents opened up a stream of fire. Bullets rained down on the vehicle, peppering Bonnie and Clyde and ultimately killing them. Curious onlookers soon descended upon the scene, looking to get a piece of history. It's said that these people tried to take locks of hair, fragments of clothes, broken glass, shell casings, and anything they could get their hands on. According to some stories, one man even tried to cut off Clyde's ear and trigger finger. The bloody scene in the vehicle may have inspired the famous name, the Bonnie and Clyde death car. Pistols, machine guns, and rounds of ammunition were found in the back seat. To ensure that the couple were really dead, Bonnie and Clyde's body were put on out for display, attracting tens of thousands of visitors. The stolen car was reported to return to the original owner, who promptly sold it. From there, it went on a winding journey, touring carnivals, fairs, racetracks, and more, cementing its place in the long lore of scary cars. Throughout its journey, many have stared at its bullet-ridden, blood-stained appearance and felt an uneasy feeling even being in its presence. Today, the car resides at a museum in Nevada. The car was the scene of a gory, violent ending for one of the nation's most villainous couples. And to this day, it remains one of the most famous, cursed, and haunted cars of all time. It's amazing some of these haunted cars that we're talking about here can actually be found in legitimate museums. You can go see the car where these people took their last breath,
Ooh.
the last heartbeat, their blood drained from their body, from the bullet wounds that riddled all over their bodies, and the lifeblood seeped out of those wounds as they breathed and gurgled for air. Help me! Help me! So,
Here's a
you have a story?
yes. This one takes us to New Jersey, out there, probably not far from the Jersey Devil himself, but this is Clinton Road, who has everything, including its own Dead Man's Curve. Lots of stories on this Clinton Road here, lots of hauntings. Probably the most common ghost story heard about Clinton Road is that of a dead young boy who hangs out under a bridge and returns coins to you after you throw them in the water. As far as is known, this tale is unique to Clinton Road, but it is difficult to say when or how this story began. On a recent visit to the bridge at Dead Man's Curve, we were surprised and delighted to see just how many people had recently stopped by to test the validity of the legend of the Ghost Boy of Clinton Road. As we peered over the guardrail and down into the tea-colored water of the stream, we could clearly see dozens of coins resting on the bottom among the stones of the creek bed. There is no way of knowing how many appearances the Ghost Boy made when summoned by the coin tossers. It should be noted that there is more than one bridge located on Clinton Road, and nobody really knows for sure which one the Ghost Boy supposedly hangs out beneath. A second bridge is located several miles to the south of Dead Man's Curve, just above the old stone iron furnace. This bridge straddles a stony cleft through which a waterfall crashes mightily. If the Ghost Boy's spirit haunts this bridge, then his trip up to return thrown coins would certainly be a much more challenging task, if he was alive, that is. Although he is the most talked about apparition to haunt Clinton Road, he is by no means the sole spirit to spook the street. If you ever decide to travel down Clinton Road at midnight, stop at the bridge by Dead Man's Curve. As the story goes, if you sit on that bridge, you throw pennies into the river, and that Ghost Boy will throw them back to you. The story is, years before anybody had heard about the haunted road, a boy was challenged by his friends to stand on the bridge as they drove to Route 23 and back. Unfortunately, by the time the friends returned from driving to the highway, they found their friend dead. And there is a painting on the bridge as a memorial to him. Another story here that someone else shared. I went up Clinton Road with two friends of mine. The really weird legends is that of the little boy. The story I heard was that a little boy was hit by a car and killed on the bridge when he went to pick up a quarter he saw on the ground. The legend is that if you get out of your car and stand on the bridge, you will see a quarter drop, and if you bend down to pick it up, the little boy will push you into the lake to save you from being hit by a car. So what else about Clinton Road? What is it about this road? Why are there so many strange and frightening stories told about this particular byway? It is the isolation of Clinton Road that makes it such a ripe candidate for modern mythology. And if this is the case, why are these stories told about Clinton Road and not its comparably deserted neighboring roads like Paradise Road and Union Valley? Clinton Road just seems to strike terror into the hearts of those who travel it. But why is it so much richer in lore than other roads in New Jersey? Yes, it is a long and lonely stretch of poorly paved asphalt fraught with perilous curves. It runs through a vast expanse of seemingly impenetrable wilderness, and without a doubt, it is a very dark, lonely trip when traveled alone on a moonless night, when your companions are the mysterious sounds of the forest which seem to surround you. Yet there are hundreds of other rural roads in the state which are even more desolate, isolated, and less well-traveled than Clinton Road, some of them without a single creepy story to claim. There are many reasons to Clinton Road, to visit the scenic beauty there of the forest, lake, and abundant wildlife, the historic sites, and sometimes to just get the wits scared out of you. This rugged 10-mile stretch of road is so rich in lore that it has been attracting late-night visitors for generations. Many of these tales of midnight joyrides may seem unbelievable, while others leave one wondering just where the truth ends and an overactive imagination begins. It's amazing that a patch of woods and a few piles of rocks right off of Route 23 in West Milford could be the source of so many rumors and tall tales there. Where else can you find a place where Satan hide behind every tree, sacrifice goats and chickens litter the woods like leftover barbecue, and black trucks driven by escaped lunatics chase innocent teenagers over dark, pothole-ridden roads. Where else have so many people reported the eerie sensation of being watched by something in the woods? Strange lights beating white streaks on the cars, or hearing disembodied childish laughter emanate from a remote playground. Where else do ghostly boys with quarters and snakes alternately appear on the streets? Rumors of bad vibes have been floating in the area since it was first settled. In 1905, J. Percy Crayon wrote about the woods just beyond the Clinton. Quote, it was never advisable to pass through the 5 Mile woods after dark, for tradition tells us they were infested with bands of robbers and counterfeiters, to say nothing of the witches that held their nightly dances and carousels at Green Island, and the ghosts that then made their appearances in such frightful forms that it was more terrifying to the peaceful inhabitants than wild animals or even Indians that often passed. Once upon a time, there was an actual castle in the woods off Clinton Road. Most who remember it liken the edifice to something out of a fairy tale or a Gothic English novel rising from the mist. Clinton, or Cross Castle, is how most locals remember it, named for the man who built it, Richard Cross. But Cross himself and his family called the place Beerfort after the mountain range it was nestled in. In 1905, Cross bought heavily forested land around Newfoundland, New Jersey, and began construction of the castle-like mansion. Its walls, which have intrigued so many people over the years, were 3 stories high. You can see remnants of the concrete today. Cross died in 1917, and the family sold the property to the city of Newark in 1919. A fire eventually destroyed much of the remaining wooden structure, leaving the stone walls intact as a place where hikers, teenagers, and the occasional Satan worshipers could congregate. Those walls eventually were knocked down in 1988 when the Newark Watershed Commission deemed the structure unsound. So,
Are you through?
I think there's a bunch of other stuff here, but that's getting off subject. So,
Let's not get off subject. I got something.
Near Clinton Road, or what has brought the ghostly visitations to Clinton Road?
Oh, that's Clinton Road. Well, what about this road? You ever heard about this?
Did we even tell while we were talking about haunted cars and?
We just jumped in.
Move right in.
Okay. Well, let's tell a story about what happened to us last week, Kelsey.
Well, hurry up! I got a good story to share here.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So everybody knows last Tuesday I had surgery. I was still on the show. Did good. Well, I was doing good, and Friday morning, Kelsey and I went off and did our thing that morning, and we needed to test drive a vehicle. So we went and test drove a vehicle, picked out the perfect vehicle. I was in love with this thing. I'm a little upset about this. Anyway, we stopped at a traffic light, and the Jeep behind us didn't stop. So,
Yikes.
and it's actually the place where we were was very close to the cotton mills in Alabaster.
Totaled the vehicle we were in. Totaled it. Okay. She gives an incomplete story. Yeah, totaled the car.
Totaled
For
the
sure.
car.
Yeah.
I got
So
a
let's
nice.
go to Illinois. You haven't told this story, have you, Kevin? Munger Road in Illinois.
No.
It involves a bus accident and tiny handprints of children.
Ah, yes.
You've heard such stories before.
Yes.
With Halloween right around the corner, it's time to get out your costume. As you can see, Kevin already has candy, and he's eating all the candy. So
I haven't touched
Walmart gets more candy, and of course, your spookiest and most frightening ghost stories, which of course we are doing as I speak. At Curious City, we get plenty of questions about the most haunted spots in Chicago and around Illinois. So right now we're going to talk about Munger Road, which runs north-south through the villages of Wayne and Bartlett, Illinois. Jolene Hocker grew up in nearby Glendale Heights and can remember first hearing about the Munger Road ghost story around Halloween when she was in high school. She said there's a section of the road where there's a railroad crossing. It's part of the road that runs through Pratt's Wayne Woods Forest Preserve. It's incredibly dark, and there aren't a lot of street lights in the area. And the story she heard as a teen had a few different versions, but goes something like this. A school bus full of kids was crossing over the train tracks and it stalled. Before the driver could get the bus off the tracks, a train came along and hit the bus. No one survived the crash. So the legend says the ghosts of the children are still there at that railroad crossing, and claims that if you drive your car onto the tracks and you put it in neutral and sprinkle some baby powder on the car bumper, allegedly the children are going to push your car off the track so that you don't get hit. They don't want you to suffer as they did. And then if you go and investigate the bumper, you'll find those tiny fingerprints in that baby powder.
Ooh.
One quick thing, and I'll tell you some more about the origins of this ghost story. Don't be parking on the railroad tracks. How's that? It is dangerous, so don't test that out if you happen to be around there. That
Yep.
would not be a wise thing to do.
Nope.
Actually, this has something to do with a bus accident that took place in another part of the country. Seems to be maybe the historical record that this urban tale was based on that real accident. Wayne's Village president, Eileen Phipps, said they have no evidence to support the legend of Munger Road. But there is evidence that, well, I think there's a similar thing going on in Texas. Isn't there one also that they say here in Alabama somewhere?
I don't know about here. I've heard of the one in Texas for sure.
Well, that one in Texas is Shane Road,
Yeah.
San Antonio.
Yeah, I've heard of the San Antonios.
Yeah.
Version of
So
the story a lot more than I have the others.
there was a newspaper article from 2002 that provided some answers. The front page story had a photo of a school bus full of children that had been hit by a train just south of Salt Lake City, Utah in 1938. All three of San Antonio's daily papers had run the story and included the photo. It was an incredibly gruesome story, often told in excruciating, vivid detail. The bodies of the injured and dead lay along the track for nearly a half mile, according to some accounts, as the freight train slowly came to a halt following the collision. Accounts said that upwards of 26 people died, including students ranging in age from 12 to 18, and of course, as well as the bus driver. So that story was wired across the country, and somehow it got conflated with the location there in San Antonio, and they all kind of share a lot of components that are very, very similar in nature. There are a lot of haunted roads in Alabama, not in Alabama, in the country, probably all over the world. There's a sharp turn in Cleveland, Ohio, is known, and you probably have some dead man's curves here in Alabama, even up through Shelby, northeast Shelby, and into St. Clair County. There's a lot of dead man's curves. The ghost of a Boy Scout troop are said to haunt Boy Scout Lane in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Then we go to Totowa, New Jersey. Annie's Road, reported sightings of a ghost of a young woman. These are all roads across the country. And of course, this time of year, things are more haunted. If you're going to be out, you're going to be cruising the streets, the roads, especially the back roads and the country roads. here in Birmingham, talking about cars and ghosts and so forth. A few years ago, Catherine, Elizabeth, and I went to do a little ghost hunting daytime run at Fraternal Cemetery up in northwest Jeffco, and got some very interesting thermal imaging results and video out of that. Very spooky cemetery. And you may recall, Kevin, Catherine, what happened in that very same cemetery just in the last couple of months. That back into that cemetery, which goes way back off the road, it's a very large cemetery, hundreds and hundreds of graves. They found a car that burned and a body in that car. So I wonder what kind of hauntings are taking place there now.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, you expect to find graves in a cemetery, but you don't expect to find bodies in a cemetery.
Omar is back, and Omar, you were here early, and then you left, and then you came back. Welcome back, Omar.
Yes, welcome back.
But that creepy, I don't know who she's talking about. Is creepy.
Oh, that was the story earlier. She was commenting. That was
creepy Kevin. Okay.
Ah,
all right, we got the countdown on. I think it's Kevin's turn to talk about some haunted, ghostly, scary, spooky automobile, highway traveling, whatever things.
Yeah, I tell you, I can't do a haunted highway or road type anything without bringing up this next one of my favorite ghosts outside of the ghosts here in my own home.
Your favorite?
The favorite. Let me get a photo up here. It goes with it. There we go. I'm going to put that up later, though. This is one of probably Chicago's favorite. It's the legend of that most famous highway hitchhiker, Resurrection Mary. The legend goes that she was killed in a hit and run while walking home from a ball sometime in the 1920s. Ever since, the ghost of a young woman in a white gown has been seen by dozens of people traveling along Archer Avenue. Generally, she tends to be walking down the side of the road, searching for a ride home. Those kind enough to pick up the stranded woman are surprised when she vanishes into thin air before reaching her destination. She has duped several cab drivers, and according to one man, she somehow got out of the car without ever opening the doors. Resurrection Mary has also been spotted in popular dance halls in the South Side, and men who have danced with her usually notice her icy cold hands. Resurrection Mary is so named for her connection to the nearby Resurrection Cemetery, where she is said to be buried. She often asks for a ride to or from the graveyard, promptly disappearing before she reaches her destination. The story of Resurrection Mary starts at the O. Henry Ballroom in Willow Springs, Illinois. A young woman named Mary was attending a dance with her boyfriend. Later that night, the young couple got into a heated argument, and Mary decided to walk home. She marched on through the rain down Archer Avenue, wearing her white dancing gown. Mary never made it home. She was struck and killed by a car between the O. Henry Ballroom and the Resurrection Cemetery. The driver of the vehicle that hit Mary was never identified. It was assumed to be a hit and run, with the driver leaving Mary to die on the side of the road. Since her death in the late 1920s, several people claim to see the ghost of a young woman hitchhiking down Archer Avenue. While the stories vary, almost all of them share the same basic characteristics. The woman always appears at night. She's always seen wearing her trademark white gown, and she's found either on Archer Avenue or at the ballroom or in the cemetery. According to some, she's also been spotted around various dance halls and nightclubs in Chicago's South Side. The first person who claimed to encounter Resurrection Mary was a man named Jerry Paulus. In 1939, Jerry was at a popular dance hall on the South Side when he was love-struck by a young blonde woman. He approached her, and the two hit it off and spent the night dancing away. They even shared a kiss, but something was off. According to Jerry, her hands were as cold as ice. He described her as having cold hands, but a warm heart. Closing time came around, and Jerry offered the woman a ride home, as she said she lived in the South Side. Still, the woman asked to be taken down to Archer. Jerry was confused. Archer Avenue was in the opposite direction. So why was she asking to go there instead of home? Jerry took the woman down towards Archer anyway. She motioned for Jerry to stop in front of the Resurrection Cemetery. When he did, she got out and vanished before his eyes. Jerry was shaken with disbelief, but not too frightened to seek out answers. The next morning, he made his way to the address where Mary said she lived. He knocked on the door and encountered her mother. When Jerry asked about the woman he met the previous night, she informed him that the girl had been dead for nearly 3 years. It turns out that Jerry had encountered a Resurrection Mary, and over the next few decades, several other men would have similar experiences. But Jerry's encounter was the one that began the legend. Several people claim to have run-ins with Resurrection Mary in the 70s and 80s. One cab driver in the 1970s claimed to see a young woman standing in front of the Resurrection Cemetery one night. He pulled over to check if she needed a ride, and as the woman approached the vehicle, she disappeared. Another encounter with Mary occurred in 1979 when a separate cab driver named Ralph claimed to pick up a young female hitchhiker. He said she was no more than 21 years of age. As the two drove up Archer Avenue, she suddenly jumped up and said, "Here, here." The car came to a sudden stop, and the woman pointed to a small abandoned shack off the left side of the road. Ralph questioned whether this was actually where she wanted to go, but before he got an answer, she disappeared without ever opening the door of the cab. His encounter was detailed in a 1979 issue of Suburban Trip magazine. In 1980, Claire Rudnicki and her husband Mark were driving down Archer Avenue toward Resurrection Cemetery when they spotted a young woman in a white gown slowly walking down the side of the road. It was immediately obvious that she was no ordinary person. She was partially transparent with a white aura around her, almost as if she was glowing. Shocked, the Rudnickis wondered if they had just seen a ghost. Believing it to be the infamous Resurrection Mary, they did a U-turn to confirm that what they had just seen. But when they once again reached the spot where Mary was walking, she was gone. In 1989, Janet Kalau was out with her friend for an evening drive, and while passing by the cemetery, a young woman wearing a white gown jumped in front of the car. Janet didn't have enough time to stop and ran into the woman, but something was strange. There was no impact, no sound. The woman just disappeared into thin air. When Janet and her friend got out to check out the scene, the woman was nowhere to be found, and there was no damage to their car. Both Janet and her friend both saw the woman, yet she vanished without a trace. There have been several ghost sightings and unusual phenomena related to Resurrection Mary. For several decades, two of the bars at the front gate, and that's what I want to show here. Here's the picture. Two of the bars at the front gate of the Resurrection Cemetery were bent apart, as if someone had tried to pry open a space in the bars. Some attribute this to Mary, as there are even a few people who claim to have witnessed the event. Locals point to the handprints seemingly burned into the bars as evidence for this taking place, but the cemetery officials vehemently deny any ghostly occurrences. Instead, they chalk up the bent bars to just being an impact with a truck or some such large vehicle. But some have claimed to see the ghost of a young blonde woman walking around Resurrection Cemetery at night. It's unknown whether or not this is Mary, but she does have a similar appearance. Other strange apparitions have been seen around the graveyard as well, but there is a detailed story by one of the guys who saw her peering out through these gates here. He said that he was going by there, and it might have been one of the cab drivers. He saw a glow at the gate of the cemetery and saw a woman peering out. He thought that someone had gotten locked in the cemetery. He didn't think ghost or anything like that. So he called the police to let them know, who I guess called the caretaker, and both of those parties went to the cemetery and searched and found nobody. But where her hands, when that cab driver saw her holding the bars peering out, where her hands had been were these two bent bars. So, was that Resurrection Mary leaving her mark on the cemetery?
Resurrection Mary.
Ooh, somebody commented again. Oh, it's Playful Rain. She's still doing her ah.
So what about Pennsylvania, Philadelphia?
Pennsylvania.
Bus to nowhere.
Oh.
Sit back. It's one of those days where you'd love to just run away to a deserted island or to jump in the car and drive with no plan in mind. Now imagine a bus. Destination unknown that brings downtrodden passengers closer to those who share in their hopelessness. This Pennsylvania urban legend tells the story of dejected souls on a bus to nowhere.
Ooh.
Countless buses traverse the city of Philadelphia day and night. All have destinations, pickup and drop-off times, and regular passengers, except one. One bus, according to local legend, has and displays no destination. It has no route number, nor does its unknown route appear on any known transportation maps. The SEPTA bus stops for no one, at least anyone with a specific destination in mind. Yet, if you ask some Philadelphians, they'll tell you they've seen this bus winding its way through the city streets. Some call it the bus to nowhere. Others call it the wandering bus. And for some, it's merely zero. Despite what you call this bus to nowhere, one thing is for certain. The passengers are those who suffer from incurable hopelessness at the bottom of one of their very worst days in memory. You don't want to suffer the type of despair of this bus's passengers, but if you do, you mustn't wait for the bus to slow down to let you on. You must chase after it. Seeing your desperation to ride, the mysterious bus driver, a man or a woman, no one knows, will slow down and allow you and your despair to enter. You look out the window, no idea as to the final destination, and wrapped in your thoughts, desperate only to get far away, anywhere, from the pain and despair. Your fellow passengers share the same desire and, like you, sit in the silence of their thoughts and hope to travel to a destination where their problems no longer exist. Pull the cord when you're ready to disembark. As you step off the bus, you leave your memories of the ride, which could have lasted minutes, or years behind. The faces of the bus driver and the passengers, your thoughts and feelings as you watch the landscape pass by, your final destination, all wiped from your memory as you finally find yourself where you're supposed to be. Count yourself as lucky if you've never been a passenger on the bus to nowhere. But if you find yourself in the depths of despair, wait for the bus to nowhere to appear. For only those at their lowest points can actually see it. So, are you at a point in your life to where you need a ride on the bus to nowhere?
Ooh. Like for
And
instance,
there's Catherine and Catherine Jr.
yeah, and a cat.
And they got pussy.
He's a kitty kitty. What a Benny.
What a mini.
Yeah.
Kitty, kitty, kitty. Meow. It is now. It is all of 8:48. We are 60. Wait a minute. What's the count there? We're 61 days from big Halloween day. Any Halloween lovers out there watching this, listening to this, following along with us as we go through the countdown of Halloween 2022? I already know that Kevin, in his despair, wants to grab his debit card and run to Lowe's to do some shopping for some Halloween decorations.
Yeah.
Behind me is a cemetery with a bolt of lightning coming down, striking one of those graves in Childersburg. Is it Childersburg? Yes. In Childersburg, there is a grave of a man that during his life was struck by lightning. Not once, but I believe twice. And when he eventually died, he was buried, and then lightning struck his tombstone at his grave and split it open. And that tombstone is still laying there as a marker of the man that lightning followed even unto his death.
Ooh.
I can't remember his name.
He was on the bus to nowhere, and his name nameless.
Nice
But
little segment.
his destination was known. What about Kevin? You got another story for us?
I got this one, but I can't remember. It's one you shared.
Well, what's the name of it?
Stocksbridge bypass in England.
I have to go ahead and share it again. I don't think I shared that one.
Okay. Stocksbridge bypass is located, of course, in Stocksbridge near Sheffield, situated in the north of England. The road is said to be haunted, and many people have experienced strange happenings on the bypass, making it one of the top haunted roads in the world. The paved road is part of the A616 and has been described as the killer road in recent years. It's the site of many hauntings in the area. The bypass was opened in May 1988 and links the M1 motorway at junction 35A and J36 to the Woodhead Pass. The road gained notoriety due to a series of deaths, either from poor driving, speeding, or the prior design of the road. There are reports that security staff, even police officers, allegedly reported seeing strange happenings and sightings during its construction, including encounters with a ghostly monk. Ooh. Yeah, a monk. Ooh. This part of the road was especially dangerous. More than 25 lives have been lost on the bypass. It's a key feeder road to M1 and is a single carriageway with crawler lanes. It has created media interest throughout its time due to some of the strange goings-on that have occurred. It said there have been a lot of ghost sightings where people have seen children running around an electric pylon singing Ring Ring Round the Rosies. and the children will disappear in front of your eyes. And well, that's it. That's the story.
End of story. End of story. So have you driven along late at night, and you have an approaching car? The courtesy thing to do is to dim your lights.
Yes.
Is that normally what you do? But you
I
don't normally flash your lights, do you?
No.
The usual reaction of most drivers on the road when they meet a car going on the opposite side, which has either high beams on or is driving with headlights off. Normally, we would flash our headlights at that car to signal or to alert the other road user to either turn on their headlights or have the lights at appropriate levels. Unfortunately, there's an urban legend that's dissuaded many from doing this. It seems, apparently, a gang usually drives around the city at night, either with high beams or the headlights off. Should you happen to flash your headlights at them, you become marked, and the gang turns around and trails you to your home and kills you as a way of initiating a new member to the gang. The decision to drive around with high beams or without headlights is intentional in order to help them select their next ritual victim. Of course, this legend has been around since the 1990s, but there's been no recorded incident of such a case. But if they're very effective, if they're in a very effective satanic cult, if they're very effective, if they have the powers of Satan behind them, there may not be a case recorded. They may have that power. Few people are willing to take the risk of being the next target for a gang initiation killing by flashing their lights that way. Would you do that?
I would.
So, have you ever driven along at night in a vehicle by yourself? You're getting a little bit tired, but you've only got an hour or so left to get home or whatever. You're on a lonely country road, driving alone, headed home after going on an excursion somewhere, and you notice a car or a truck following to the point where it's not a coincidence. They're actually following you. And you try to shake off the car and you're unsuccessful. They only lead your pursuer to follow more aggressively and even begin high beaming his headlights. You become panic stricken, calling out for help, asking for the police, someone to come and rescue you. This vehicle, this truck that's following not far behind pulls up, and a man emerges from it holding a gun and stands next to your vehicle. The police, called by the family, arrive to arrest them, but he explains he is the wrong guy and asks them to check the back seat of the woman's car. Upon inspection, police find a man hiding in the back seat with a knife. The truck driver explains that he saw the man slide in the woman's car at the mall or gas station, and he had no other way to warn. So who knows, that person that's seemingly tailgating you late at night, flashing their lights, may be warning you that somebody got in your car and is in your back seat, possibly with a gun or a knife, just waiting for the opportune moment to make waste of you. Oh, we got time for another one?
So if you got an ear to listen with,
Well,
make
if you
sure
have, if you have
keep
a
your eye out.
if you have a finger to give us, put your finger.
I got a finger.
Okay, we got 3 minutes. Let's get it going.
Look at Kay. Catherine's being so subtle.
Catherine's giving us a finger.
Elizabeth saw you, Kevin, giving the finger. She goes, Kevin.
I gave a finger. See, it's a finger. So I got a quick one here from New Orleans. New Orleans. Laissez bon temps prolong. It's a scary street in New Orleans. Mona Lisa Drive. So listen up. I'm gonna tell about it real quick. Mona Lisa's tale might be the oldest in New Orleans. It's certainly one that continues to live on. As legend has it, a wealthy man donated a collection of statues to the city. He did so with the understanding that the New Orleans City Park would return the favor by creating a statue for him. The wealthy man expected the city to create a statue in honor of his deceased daughter, Mona. The details of her death are still unknown. Some say it was the result of a broken heart or literally loving someone to death. And now she haunts young lovers looking to park and take in the sights in Mona Lisa Drive. Some have even heard her crying and scratching at their car windows. For as long as there have been roads, there have been many scary stories surrounding them. And this is one of those that has lived on the city street of Mona Lisa Drive in New Orleans. So if you're driving there and you park and you hear scratching on your windows, you better get out of there. Don't park.
Don't.
Listen
Don't. Well, it's time for us to put the finger on the end broadcast button.
I got a couple of fingers, really, if you know.
You got a finger for each hand.
Say hello, Elizabeth.
Folks.
Hello.
Folks.
There, my magic trick.
I can do that for real.
You what?
I used to do. I mean, it's.
Yeah, don't you remember that picture she sent us that time where she said, "Hey, I blew my finger off," and she didn't have a finger.
Didn't have a finger.
Yeah, she blew her finger off. That's the picture she sent us, and she does FX makeup stuff. That is Sriracha the kitty cat.
Yeah.
I named him Sriracha because he's a spicy little kitty.
Sriracha.
And then what's the other one's name?
Ziggy.
Ziggy,
Ziggy.
the one that was here earlier.
Well, we're now down to 61 days, 2 hours, 59 minutes, and 38 seconds to Halloween 2022. Kevin is going to be going to Lowe's here shortly. He's got his card in his fingers, playing with it, thinking, how much money do I have to spend? What did you see there in that store that I recorded that got your attention?
There's a bunch of stuff. Those big pumpkins that were lying on the floor there, those look neat. And the Michael Myers electronic thing looked good.
I knew you'd like that one.
I like the Michael Myers lights, Kevin.
Yeah, I saw those online a couple of days ago. I was looking at them, so I knew Lowe's had them.
Well, when we see you guys
Scratch my ear.
Lend me an ear.
Lend you an ear.
when we convene again next week, cleaning his ear out, why don't you use a finger and pick the nose?
I should. I wish they put a nose in the pack. That'd be fun.
Playful Rain, you'll have to come on and show us that Halloween house tour. You want to do that?
Yeah, so we can do tours of Halloween the way our decorations are. 61 days, 2 hours, just a little bit less than 3 hours away from Halloween 2022. And of course, for us, it's already Halloween, right?
Yeah.
It's Halloween until Thanksgiving.
When we convene next week, same time, same place, same channel, same blah, 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 it'll be less then it'd be we'll be down close to just real close to just 50 days out. Well, less than 60 days out. We'll be moving in on that big date. What day does Halloween fall on this year? I think
It's
it's
a
Monday.
Monday.
Monday. So that means we got a whole weekend of Halloweenness.
Just had to be a Monday.
Halloweenness. Happy Halloweenness, everybody. We're going to shut this thing down. It's been nice knowing you. Take care. Have a wonderful week. This is Labor Day weekend, so to be out traveling, be careful. Con cuidado. And take care of yourselves and each other. Be nice if you want to be. If you don't want to be nice, then be ugly. I don't care.
Yeah.
Honestly. Everybody say good night.
Good night.
Hand.
All right, there you go.
Y'all,
Love
I'm
it.
exhausted and not feeling real well, so I'm going to go to bed.
Well,
Okay.
have a beautiful, wonderful night, folks, and we will see y'all and talk. Tomorrow's another day.
You should.
Love y'all. Bye.
You do. Bye bye.